Heartbroken. Self-medicating will only compound your suffering. I'm Ben Ufana, and I'm a bit sleep deprived, and yet I'm flying out shortly. And since I'll be on the road, I want to get a few videos filmed because I don't know what my circumstance will be when I'm traveling, if I'll have decent lighting. Anyway, let's dive into it. Actually, one more thing. Since I am presenting information that has so much depth and detail, it's more than anyone can possibly remember unless you're constantly reading, rehearsing the same material over and over. But since I'm covering new material, composing new articles week by week, then it's a lot of new detail. And although I know the material very well, like the deer in headlights when I'm on camera. And so I will be reading from the article because that way I could include all the essential details that are so important to understanding the issues that I'll be discussing here. So anyway, here we go. In the midst of a devastating breakup, or when someone ghosts us or pulls away or triggers our deepest attachment wounds, many of us get hit with a tidal wave of pain that we don't know how to handle. And our first impulse is to escape it. We reach for whatever numbs us. That could be food, alcohol, weed, other drugs, casual sex, binge watching, or the endless scroll of social media. But numbing is a trap. The more we self-medicate, the deeper that pain embeds itself. Unresolved and festering beneath the surface, where it quietly sabotages our ability to heal and move forward. There's a powerful deception at work here because the substances that we rely upon in these instances, like alcohol, pot, cocaine, and other recreational drugs, trigger a rush of dopamine and endorphins, creating a temporary sense of well-being. But it's nothing more than a biochemical trick. The brain is being soothed without actually addressing the underlying pain. And over time, the reliance on these external fixes becomes habitual, not just physically, but emotionally. Cocaine, in particular, floods the brain with dopamine and other neurotransmitters by blocking their reuptake, producing an intense, short-lived euphoria. Then comes the crash, a sharp drop that leaves you more anxious and depleted and more emotionally raw. The crash only intensifies the cravings and deepens the dependence. The same is true to a lesser degree with alcohol and weed. The high fades, the pain returns, and often hits harder. This cycle gradually dysregulates the brain's reward system, making it harder to feel pleasure naturally and leaving us emotionally numb or stuck in low-grade despair. The truth is, when we numb pain, we're also diminishing our capacity to heal. And the longer we avoid facing the realities of our lives and working directly with the emotions attached to them, the more suffering compounds beneath the surface. I want to share with you here a cycle of destruction and avoidance, which is typical of many people I've encountered over the years. The names have been changed to protect confidentiality. Jake is someone I've worked with for a while, and he drank heavily at times, using alcohol to cope with the pain of several destructive relationships that he had cycled through. One in particular stands out, a relationship with a woman named Amanda. Jake showed up in one of my classes with his then girlfriend, Amanda. And I learned later she was married, a fact that Jake only discovered after they'd been seeing each other for some time. Their relationship became a toxic cycle of lies, betrayal, and volatility. Amanda's dishonesty only deepened Jake's insecurity and emotional turmoil. At one point, Jake was angry at me, as though he expected I could somehow fix his girlfriend and salvage the relationship But the truth is, his relationship with Amanda was a mirror reflecting back the deeper emotional wounding he hadn't yet faced. His heavy drinking wasn't just about numbing out, it was a way of avoiding the pain, of sidestepping the truth of the unresolved trauma he was carrying. Drowning all those painful emotions in alcohol only compounded things, adding to his confusion, making it harder for him to process the emotional responses to the chaos playing out in his relationships. And it kept him from doing the work he needed to truly heal, to integrate the lessons, to let go, and to move on to something better. Because Jake's emotional wounds remained unresolved, they continued to play out in the toxic relationships that followed. Self-medicating with alcohol, weed, and other recreational drugs can provide a momentary sense of relief from the loneliness, rejection, and devastation that often follow a painful breakup. These substances create a temporary buffer, giving us just enough distance from the emotional intensity we don't feel equipped to face. But any fleeting sense of comfort or apparent easing of the pain comes at a cost. Grief, sadness, hurt, and all the other raw emotions that we haven't processed never just disappear. They linger beneath the surface, accumulating over time. Every time we numb ourselves, instead of feeling what's actually there, we're disengaging the body and mind's innate healing intelligence, the part of us that helps us digest our lived experiences and the emotions they carry. When that process is impaired, these unprocessed emotions remain trapped within our bodies, creating a kind of emotional residue that diminishes our capacity to connect, trust, and experience healthy love. Over time, these undigested emotions accumulate as a heavy, stagnant presence, some of it forming into emotional body armor, are layers of chronic tension that settle in our neck, shoulders, and other parts of our body. Not only does this weigh us down, it also erodes our capacity for joy, intimacy, and real connection. And when we use alcohol and other recreational drugs to escape what we're feeling, what was once unprocessed grief or sadness goes through a further stage of putrefaction, becoming toxic to our system and far more difficult to work through later on. What's more, the more we rely on numbing and escaping as a coping mechanism, the less we develop the inner faculties we actually need, not only to digest our lived experiences and the emotions attached to them, but to heal and navigate the realities of daily life. By avoiding our authentic emotional responses, we lose the opportunity to build resilience, presence, and the emotional strength required to fully process and transform our suffering. Without that growth, we remain stuck in a kind of holding pattern, our bodies burdened by undigested emotion, and our relationships reflecting our inner state as a painful series of reenactments, and our attempts at relief often reinforcing the very suffering we're trying to outrun. Remaining present with your emotions rather than running from them requires courage. To truly heal from the devastation of painful loss, attachment wounds, and other deep emotional injuries, there's no substitute for facing the pain directly. That means allowing yourself to fully feel, not just the grief, sadness, rage, and despair, but the entire spectrum of emotions as they arise. The challenges you encounter, whether in relationships or other areas of your life, will inevitably stir a wide range of emotional responses. Allow those responses to surface. Breathe softly and deeply as you fully immerse your awareness in the depths of any feelings or bodily sensations that emerge. As you consistently work with this practice, you're activating the innate healing intelligence that resides within your body and mind, enabling you to digest both your lived experiences and emotional responses. If you struggled with substance use, support networks like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous can be a vital part of your healing process, providing structure, accountability, and a sense of community. It may also be necessary to distance yourself from individuals who encourage or normalize your use, as maintaining sobriety often requires creating an environment that truly supports your recovery. It's also critically important for you to be incorporating the therapeutic modalities that will allow you to work more effectively with your experiences. For some, that might mean working with a therapist. Deep tissue body work can be especially helpful. It helps you to reconnect with your body and brings a lot of the emotions long held within to the surface so that they can be processed. For me, the most effective transformative interventions have been the sessions I've done with gifted healers and also the Vision Quest, a traditional Native American healing practice that involves going out to fast alone in the mountains for 4 days and nights without food and water. These interventions have helped me to metabolize both my lived experiences and the emotions attached to them in a way that's built greater resilience and that has expanded my capacity to navigate life and to function at increasingly higher levels. To the best of your ability, make a concerted effort every day to address the issues, concerns, and challenges that arise. Expect discomfort. That's part of the process. And equally important, know when you've done what you can and when it's time to let go. In closing here, I want to thank you for joining me today. And having trained from a traditional Native American doctor, a medicine man from the Kiowa tribe, and going through so many vision quests, I work as a conduit, as traditional indigenous healers have done for many centuries, allowing extraordinarily powerful presence to work through me to facilitate healing within the body and mind. Together, we work to transform the backlog of painful and stagnant emotional residue, building lasting resilience while laying the inner foundation needed to meet life's challenges more effectively. Call me at 332 333 5155 to begin your healing journey. And one more thing, be sure to look down, click like and subscribe, and do share this video with anyone you feel will benefit.